What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing a her story. I know it's been a minute. It's been about 2 months since I did the last her story of Bernice Pa'ahi Bishop. Side note, when I went home, I did go to that museum and it was just so much history in there. Like, I was just taking it all in, like the feels, just seeing what they used to use, what they used to wear, all the history that's in there, because I'm a history head. I love it, you know. It made me feel so good and so happy. Moving on, we are talking about Princess Kaiolani and her story. So if you are interested, then stay to the end of the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Hawaii_mommy, and let's get started. Alright, so the Princess Kaiolani was born Victoria Kaiolani Cleghorn on October 16, 1875 in Honolulu. She was actually named after Queen Victoria of Britain or London. She was named after her, and there was this investigator that was sent to the islands to investigate the situation at the time that we'll talk about later. But he was sent to the islands and he met with her. He fell in love with her personality, how she connected with her people, how well spoken she was, and in his article he named her the Island Rose of Hawaii. So that is what she's also known as. Her mother's name is Miriam Like. She is the sister to David Kalakaua. So she's, you know, in that royal family. And she is the daughter to a Scottish businessman named Archibald. I'm sorry, that name just throws me off. Archibald Scott Cleghorn. As a kid, the princess lived a pretty stable and royal life. She lived in Waikiki on an estate called Ainahau. I believe to this day that this estate is turned into a hotel, something like that. But I did read in some articles that the hotel's kind of haunted because there's a lot of things that happen there. And during the filming of the movie Princess Kaiolani, that was funded by Disney, one of their staff members had died after the movie came out or something like that. But some pretty scary shit. So she lived there at Ainahau, and she was tutored by British and American people that came to the islands to specifically teach her reading and writing and music and, you know, history. You know how that goes. Because I just wonder sometimes, like, what were they teaching Hawaiian people about black people? Like, what was that conversation like? I wonder sometimes. That's just me though. She also was taught social training. So back then it was pretty big for a lady to act like a lady. So she had to take classes, ladylike classes on how to walk, how to talk, how to bow, how to drink tea with your pinky up. Some articles state that she was fluent in Hawaiian, English, German, and French as well. So she was a very smart girl. At the age of 13, she was sent to England, where her father believed that she would have the best education and social etiquette. I did kind of watch the movie, and in the movie there was like this, I don't know if it's a false narrative or this well-rounded depiction of what might have happened when she was there. But I seen in the movie that they didn't treat her so nicely because she wasn't white. They also didn't treat her so nicely because she thought that she was better than everybody because she was a princess. But we'll never know. But she was sent away, and by the time like some years went by, some substantial amount of years, I'd say like a good 6 to 9 years went by, where she returned back to Hawaii. It was actually on its way out of being a independent nation. Hearing the news of the island being overthrown and in shambles and being unlawfully annexed, in her efforts to, help the cause. She sailed from England to NYC to talk to press, to make an appeal to the American people, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, leave my people alone, pretty much. She was like the Martin Luther King of Hawaii. She was the voice of the people, because mind you, Americans had already thought, Americans that have not been there had already thought that Hawaiians were uneducated. So here you have this beautiful, mixed, well-educated, English accent Hawaiian that's talking to people, and it's so appealing and so intriguing and convincing that the American people couldn't help but to agree with her. Not only did this beautiful, well-educated Hawaiian young lady persuade the American press, but she also caught the eye and the attention of the president at the time, and he was a newly elected president by the name of Grover Cleveland. He had invited her out there to DC. She went and had dinner with him and his wife. And of course, the topic of conversation was the independence of Hawaii. So, did I think the president really care about that shit? No. But I knew that it was her light, her ambiance, her pure heart and care for her people, that he had no choice but to be like, all right, let's see what I can do. And so President Glover had sent out a man by the name of James Blount to investigate the Committee of Safety. The Committee of Safety was a group of those snakes, those white people that was trying to get Hawaii to be a territory. So it was like the Annexation Committee or whatever. Over the course of years of investigating, they had came up with a verdict that pretty much Hawaii was being illegally annexed, and it was unlawful, it wasn't right, and they shouldn't do it. So the president had whipped up some type of letter or some type of appeal to persuade them to stop, the annexation. And the committee was like, hell no, like, who is you? At this point of refusal, the president didn't have anything else to do. He couldn't really do anything else because his term was up. A presidential term is only for 4 years, and I'm guessing that they were investigating for those 4 years, and came up with the conclusion that it was unlawful, but he couldn't do anything else about it because he was out of the office. Wasn't nobody voting for him because he was going against the grain, going against the plan. President McKinley was the next president in the White House. To our surprise, are we ever really surprised when it comes to, Caucasians and taking over shit? To our surprise, he was an annexationist. He was giving pretty much the Committee of Safety a go-ahead to do what they gotta do. And so Hawaii then got annexed. We named the whole high school after you, bro. Like, that's not cool. Fast forward to the day of annexation. I can only imagine the way that the whole island was feeling, because they lowered the Hawaiian flag and threw up the American flag. It's kind of like a big fuck you, in front of their faces. Like, fuck how you feel, fuck your culture, fuck your people. We in this. A lot of people did not show up. A lot of Hawaiians were in mourning. They were crying. And for Princess Kaiolani, she stayed silent. It's almost like something died, and you're feeling that pain. While I was doing this research, I honestly didn't feel that, the scorching pain, but I felt kind of sad. I seen the picture and I was just like, that's fucked up. Now Hawaii is part of the US, and there's nothing that anybody can say or do about it, not even the Queen herself. So instead of their efforts being more towards the independence of the nation, now they're just trying to get Hawaiian people in line and get them voting rights. So what the princess had did was, through a party where American people and stuff like that can meet with Hawaiians that are well educated, that can read and write and well spoken, and they speak English and stuff like that. Pretty much just showing them that Hawaiian people are capable of voting and not barbaric, and we're smart too, you know what I mean? The white people were in favor of Hawaiians voting, so congrats to that. Progress. Fast forward to 1899, the princess becomes ill. In the movie, it depicts that she rode a white horse on the beach in the rain, and that's how she got sick. Some people are saying pneumonia. Some people are just saying that she became ill and didn't recover from her condition. So you pick and choose what you want to believe. But she died. She died at the age of 23. Now, just imagine you're going through all of this stuff with the overthrow, and you're sailing from here to there to talk to this person to try and, you know, get help for your nation and this and this and this. She's doing that all at a young age. So the biggest thing to take away from this her story of Princess Kaiulani is that she was a young woman that was very humbly ambitious, well-spoken, and an advocate for her Hawaiian people. You know, she wanted the best for her island. She wanted to do everything that she could to help her Hawaiian people. Okay, she was a light. I feel like she was a light, and not only did she help with forwarding the Hawaiian community, but she also made people's perspective of the way that Hawaiian people were looked at, you know, as barbaric and dumb, and you know what I mean, like they don't speak English, you know what I'm saying? Like, she changed their perspective. Like, no, we can be educated, we can speak English too, we can do it just as great, you know? But that is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching this Her Story. Tune in next week and we're gonna talk about another good queen. I don't know which one yet, but we're gonna talk about somebody, okay? So I'll see you guys in the next one.